It is time for my little daily talkie practice in front of a camera. Actually, right now it is pretty cold, so I have assumed my ball position on the floor, which is actually a position I have adopted for a very long time. When I was 3 years old, I say 3 years old, basically when I was a kid until I got a desk, and even when I had a desk, I really liked crouching on the floor and drawing and doing my stuff like that. So even though I actually do have the option of sitting at not one but 3 different tables, I still prefer the floor. And it's also chilly because it's raining outside, and I got back from London. Today I went to Flo Schachter's house. I helped her film stuff and I was an actress in the videos, which was a lot of fun. I think some of my acting was good. I think some other of it was actually pretty bad. But the important bit is that it was fun, and I think the sketches were complete the way they needed to be, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they turned out. Even though I stayed overnight, I actually didn't sleep very well, and this is absolutely not her fault. I kind of think about it a lot in phases, but I have really hyper-flexible joints, sort of, like my fingers will bend back really far, for instance. On a good day, I say a good day, a day when I'm warmer, this finger will actually touch the back of my hand. And I was actually not going to talk about it in this video, but actually I think I will. I'm almost 100% sure that I have Ehler Danlos Type 3, also known as hypermobility. My brain is really not working. Hypermobility syndrome, síndrome de hipermovilidad articular, hypermobility joint syndrome, or Ehler Danlos Type 3. I say almost 100% sure in the sense that I haven't officially been diagnosed, and that is because, well, I mean the full story, this is going to turn into a long video, but whatever. The full story is, when I was around 13, around Mayish, I remember my shoulder started clicking, and it started clicking a lot. Before then, none of my joints ever clicked except my toes, for whatever reason. And then my shoulder began currently clicking. A couple of weeks after that, my pelvis started clicking, sort of I'd be able to like subluxate my leg. Sort of, it wouldn't actually pop out of the joint, but it would kind of move and get locked in an uncomfortable position, and I could click it as well, and it had a very specific sensation associated with it. My neck also did that. Then my fingers started cracking, so actually I now have crackly fingers, crackly neck, crackly back. I can actually crack my back from breathing sometimes. In fact, the very last thing that started cracking was my jaw, and that was around November, so within 6 months all of my joints started cracking, the exception being my knees. But actually over the past year they occasionally crack when I cycle, and I'm worried it's to do with the fact that I do martial arts, but for some reason I think my joints in my knees are slightly different. So I remember, apart from having crackly joints, when the weather would change, they'd also be really sore, and they'd crack differently. So right now it's kind of switched to raining, and the days preceding it, my joints are extremely painful, which is actually the reason I couldn't sleep, and I've not really been able to sleep very well recently. But this started happening when I was 13, 14. So I remember, well, I went to the doctors and they weren't particularly helpful. They sent me to a traumatologist who gave me insoles for my feet and said my pain was psychological. Super helpful. But then, yeah. My brain is tired. Yeah, so they weren't particularly helpful. They never prescribed me anything or diagnosed anything. But essentially, not that I'm a fan of diagnosing on the internet, but I found lots of pages that suggest it is hypermobility syndrome. I don't get joint dislocations, so, you know, it's not awfully bad, but I do get a lot of pain, and even though it's a lot worse when it's raining, which is when I think actually I probably do have chronic pain, and maybe it is something I should follow up, and I do always think I'm probably going to end up having to take painkillers at some point, because it can be quite excruciating. And it does make me realise that actually most of the time I am almost always in a level of discomfort. I mean, I've realised things like I don't like, I don't know, I don't think it's, I don't consider myself a lazy person, but I don't always like going up the stairs. I might prefer to take the lift on days when I'm feeling really sore, or I won't want to help carry dishes or whatever. I won't be as helpful in things that require physical labour. And I always realise because I feel quite sore in particular joints, or they just feel not stiff, because obviously they don't, it's more they feel, as soon as any pressure is exerted on them, they feel sore. Or I don't know, like they're gonna just crumble. I mean, there's no strength in my joints. If I pick something up with my fingers, they just bend back. Likewise, I used to be able to, my shoulders used to be a lot worse. I've actually strengthened them through swimming, and they're actually pretty loose again. Like, yeah, that actually cracked pretty badly. I don't know, I'm not getting naked here, I swear. It's just, I can't really show it, but I can actually lock my shoulder and I can sort of jam it one way or jam it the other and lift my arm up about 5 centimetres higher one way or the other. So I'm worried that one day my shoulder's probably going to pop out, and that's why I try to do a lot of exercise, which I've not done as much recently. This video is so rambly, it's all over the place. Oh yeah, the other thing that made me think that I do actually have hypermobility syndrome, because obviously I wasn't going to be fully convinced just by the fact that, you know, I had sore joints and they cracked a lot, and actually that was what made me search it, but also there are other symptoms as well that other people have actually pointed out. I don't think I would have actually noticed, just because they are relative things. So the first one is actually, I don't really have cartilage in my ears. I will always tell people I've got really squishy ears. Again, you can't really show this on camera, but it's very easy for me to just like fold my ears up. They just like bend right over, there's no give. So if I put my hair behind my ears, it actually pushes them out. And people have said I have sticky out ears when I put my hair behind it, but they're not, it's just, they're not strong enough to hold my hair back. Likewise, I couldn't wear headbands when I was at school because they'd do the same thing. So, oh yeah, my nose apparently is the same. I say apparently because how did I find this out? Someone decided to squish my ears and my nose, and they said, "Oh, Inés, your ears don't have any give." I don't go around poking other people's ears, so I just assumed everyone had ears and noses like mine, but apparently there's not very much cartilage there. The other one is my skin. Everyone always says I have super soft skin, which I'm not going to complain about. I like being told I have nice baby skin. And even though it's actually the spottiest it's been in a while, it's usually pretty clear. But the other thing is my skin is quite stretchy. It's not like ridiculously stretchy, but I can actually pull a lot off, and even on places where you wouldn't normally be able to pull skin off, I can stretch it a lot. So I can just like pinch random bits of my body and pull up skin. So that was another one. This one will not appear on this camera, but apparently the whites of my eyes are slightly blue. And that is because the bit that forms underneath the white of your eye, you've got some black. The black basically means that, oh crap, that the light gets absorbed at the back of your retina, it doesn't bounce out of the eye and prevents light from entering anywhere else other than the pupil. But anyway, people who've got my condition, basically their collagen and everything's a lot stretchier, so the white of the eye is also slightly more stretched, so you can actually see the black through it. So the more serious it is, the kind of bluer it is, and people with a bone disease that's related but also separate osteogenesis imperfecta, they actually have bright blue eye whites. So mine are mildly blue, and you know, if you look at everyone has a slight tinge probably, but some people have noticed it in me. People have said, "Oh Inés, you have blue eyes," to which I say, really? But yeah, then I realised they actually mean the eye whites. Apparently there's also things about the shape of the face which I may or may not fit. I don't know, they say things like pointy chin. I've been told I have a pointy chin. Don't really like my chin, but I can't see it most of the time, so I don't really care either. Oh yeah, there's the Baton and the Brighton score. and I can never tease the two apart, but basically one of them is a measure of the Beighton or the Brighton score plus a bunch of other things such as the crackly joints, and then the other one is a score out of 10 of how many joints you can sort of bend in a particular way. So I get this one, which is you can make this shape with your hand, you can touch your wrist with your thumb, and you get a point for each side. The ones I don't get points for are actually hyperextension of the knees, because my knees, as I said, for some reason have been saved from being crackly and sore. Hyperextending elbows, I hyperextend that much, but they definitely do to an extent actually, so it looks wonky and weird. I feel sometimes people mention this one, sort of, can you put your pinky finger past 90 degrees, which I can, but that's related to that one. There were other signs and symptoms, but I think with those alone, and especially because other people have mentioned them too, and also because I do get pain and my joints creak, that is why I'm pretty convinced that I have hypermobility. So when I went to my doctor in England, I just straight out said I have hypermobility. I wasn't going to go through the faff of a diagnosis, and I think she agreed, or she said, yeah, it looks like you're pretty hypermobile, like do this, do that, yeah, you're hypermobile. Unfortunately, there's not anything they can do for me. They can give me crappy exercises, which I can't remember because they don't give me a list of exercises to do, but I'm not that, basically they're only aimed to kind of strengthen your core, which I try to do anyway with exercise, but I've been pretty bad at keeping up with exercise recently, which is why my joints are actually suffering. Sort of 2 weeks without exercise means everything hurts loads. And obviously the more things hurt, the less likely I am to want to do exercise anyway, so it's kind of a vicious circle. But yeah, the other bad thing about exercise is usually you'll end up with another kind of pain called muscle pain, so it's usually a choice between sucky joints or sore muscles. And my joints will still get sore when I'm going to get my period, or when it's going to rain, or just because they want to, even when I have been looking after them as best I can. So to be honest, it's a no-win situation, but obviously I will do exercise because I enjoy it and it's good for you anyway, and it still mitigates the symptoms. I was also offered painkillers. There were prescription ones, NSAIDs. Unfortunately, they don't really do that much for me, so I rarely take them, I admit. I might take them if I have a competition and I feel I'm going to benefit more from having painkillers in general, because, I don't know, I get pain in other areas too sometimes, like if I have period cramps then I probably will, or I have a headache then I probably will take a paracetamol. And that sometimes helps with my joints, and then that's when I truly realise that actually I am always in pain, but even having taken a paracetamol I can still feel that discomfort. It's just the fact that I can feel a noticeable diminishing in general discomfort that makes me realise I have it. But then also the difference between kind of pain and suffering, because I'm not necessarily sad or upset by the pain, I wish I didn't have it, but it's not a huge hindering. That's also another topic that I think is really interesting, and it's actually something I want to cover in a science video, because actually there is a slight scientific basis to how psychological pain can be. So even though I hated it when the doctor told me your pain is psychological, in a way they kind of had a point, but at the same time it was absolutely not acceptable for them to say that then. Anyway, this video is actually, compared to all of my other videos, and this one wasn't even meant to be a long one, this one has rambled on for ages. And just from complaining about my joints. But anyway, one day I want to make a proper serious video about this, but I won't ramble as much about it, and yeah, I won't speculate as to what I'm going to speak about next, because I have various ideas and that's just going to make this video even longer. So, bye vlog, bye bye.